Right, how's it going? It's Blessing Christian Lifestyle. Thank you for being on. This is Anthony. All right, so today we're gonna go over Deuteronomy chapter 2. All right, so remember the book of Deuteronomy is a summary of the book of Numbers and actually talks about the book of Exodus as well. Doesn't really, I don't think it talks about the book of Leviticus as much, but um, yeah, the book of Numbers where the children of Israel they pretty much wander around the desert for 40 years. That is huge. All right. That is huge. At this point, hey, does God make us wait for our blessings? In this case, they really they lost faith in God, and it's like they questioned God, and for that, God cursed them. Like, hey, you're not gonna go into the promised land. What's gonna happen is I'm gonna skip your generation, and I'm gonna give it to the next generation. So God said, hey, y'all lost faith. Y'all tested God. They were complaining about God that he just said, hey, you know what? This generation will not make the promised land. I'll give it to your children. All right. So that's what happened. And like I said, this happened in Book of Numbers, and this is Moses summarizing. All right. So Moses is actually about to pass away. All right. We're in the Book of Deuteronomy, the fifth book of the Old Testament. Moses is about to pass away, but before that, he summarizes everything that happened. So that's huge. So if you don't really feel like reading the book of Numbers, I know it's pretty long. Go through the book of Deuteronomy and it will actually summarize a lot of what happened. That's why I said the Bible is very, very repetitive. You can find the same stuff throughout the Bible. It's very repetitive. All right. So the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 2, the last book of the first five books of the Bible. All right. All right, here we go. Then we turned and journeyed in the wilderness of the way of the Red Sea. So remember, they're leaving Exodus. They're leaving Egypt. All right. Remember the whole story from the book of Exodus. Let my people go. All right. So they're leaving. Uh, so it says, then we turned, journeyed into the wilderness of the way of the Red Sea, as the Lord spoke to me, and we skirted Mount Sar for many days. And the Lord spoke to me, saying, you have skirted the mount long enough. Turn northward and command the people, saying, you are about to pass through the territory of your brethren, the descendants of Esau, who live in Seir, and they will be afraid of you. Therefore, watch yourself carefully. Do not meddle with them, for I will not give you any of their land. No, not as much as one footstep, because I have given Mount Seir to Esau as a possession. All right, so God had already given that land to Esau. Like, hey, don't even worry about that land; it's already Esau's. You shall buy food from them with money that you may eat, and you shall also buy water from them with money that you may drink. So one thing to remember is, hey, God telling them stuff like, hey, these are instructions. God gives us instructions. All right. When you pray, God gives you instructions. Hey, follow the instructions. He's saying here, you shall buy food from them with money, you shall eat, and you shall also buy water with them with money, and you may drink. For the Lord your God has blessed you in all your work of your hands. He knows your trudgings. God knows what's going on. Through this great wilderness, these 40 years of the Lord your God has been with you. You have lacked nothing. So they're wandering around for 40 years and they have lacked nothing. Remember, there's literally bread coming out of the out of the sky, the manna. And when we passed beyond our brethren, the descendants of Esau, who dwell in Seir, away from the road of the plain, away from Elat, Gezion, Geber, we turned and passed by the way of the wilderness of Moab. Then the Lord said to me, do not harass Moab, nor contend with them in battle, for I will not give you any of their land as a possession, because I have given Ar to the descendants of Lot as a possession. So that land's already been taken. God's been giving land away. God is literally has been giving land away. Like, hey, don't worry about him either, because I have given that lot to Lot, which is Abraham's nephew. All right. So don't even worry about trying to take that land. Don't fight with them. Don't do anything. The Emin has dwelt there in times past, a people as great as numerous and tall as the Anakim. They were also regarded as giants like Anakim, but the Moabites called them Emin. The Horites formerly dwelt in Seir, but the descendants of Esau disposed them and destroyed them from before them and dwelt in their place, just as Israel did to the land of their possessions, which the Lord gave them. Now rise and cross over the valley of Zered. So we're crossed over the valley of Zered, and the time we took to come from Kadesh Barnea until we crossed over the valley of Zered was 38 years. Man, 38 years to cross it. All right. That's huge to cross the valley. 38 years. They spent 38 years. How's it going? Thank you very much for being on. All right. So they're literally just roaming around for these 40 years. All right. Like, all right. They're pretty much waiting for the generation to die out. So the next generation can, like, okay, let's continue the mission, which is go to the land of Israel, the land of Canaan. All right. Um, this generation did not believe, even though they witnessed the Red Sea, the parting of the Red Sea that God did. They witnessed God taking them out of Egypt. They witnessed so much of God, and they still question Him. They still question Him. Therefore, God said, "You know what? I'm gonna give it to your children. All right, I'm gonna let them finish the mission that I have set out." So that's what happens here. For indeed, the hand of the Lord was against them to destroy them from the midst of the camp until they were consumed. So it was when all the men of war had finally perished among the people. So everybody, the generation has died out now. All right. So finally, the generation has died out. This day you are to cross over the boundary of Moab. And when you come near the people of Ammon, do not harass them, meet with them, for I will not give you any of the land of people of Ammon as a possession, because I have given it to the descendants of Lot as a possession. That was also regarded as a land of giants. Giants formerly dwelt, but Ammonites called them Zemzumin. All right, so there's a land of giants. A people as great as numerous, tall as Anakim, but the Lord destroyed them before, and they disposed, dispossessed them and dwelt in their place, just as he had done to the descendants of Esau, who dwelt Seir when he destroyed the Horites before them. They dispossessed and dwelt in their place even to this day. And the Evim who dwelt in the villages as far as Gaza, remember the strip of Gaza, which is still relevant today. How's it going? Thank you for being on. All right. So we're talking about the strip of Gaza, which is relevant today. There's like a war going on there. The Kephorim who came from Kephor destroyed them and dwelt in their place. Rise, take your journey and cross over the river Arnon. uh, Look, I have given it to your hands of Sihon, Amorite, king of Heshbon, and the land. Begin to possess it and engage him in battle. The day I will begin to put the dread and the fear of you upon the nation under the whole heaven, who shall hear the report of you and shall tremble and be in anguish because of you. So they're about to go into battle, and it's like, hey, people are going to hear about this battle. I'm going to put the fear and people surrounding you in this battle. All right, they're going to hear about this battle. And I sent a messenger from the wilderness of Kedemoth to Sihon, king of Heshbon, and the word of the peace, saying, let me pass through your land. I will keep strictly on the road, and I will turn neither to the right nor the left. You shall sell me food for money that I may eat, and give me water for money that I may drink. Only let me pass through on foot, just as the descendants of Esau who dwell in Seir, and Moabites who dwell in Ar, did for me, until I cross the Jordan to the land which the Lord our God has given us. So they have to pass through. Like, hey, we're just gonna pass through. We'll pay you. You know, nothing to worry about. But Sihon, the king of Heshbon, would not let pass through, for the Lord your God hardened his spirit and made his heart obstinate, that he might deliver him into the hand as it is this day. And the Lord said to me, see, I have begun to give Sihon and the land over to you. Begin to possess it, that you may inherit his land. To Sihon and all the people came out against us to fight as Jehab. And the Lord our God delivered him over to us. So we defeated him, his sons, and all his people. So this king had his heart hardened. So what have we been seeing in the word and God's word? God will harden king's heart. If you're like a person of what do you call it, like a ranking, hey, and you become too prideful, your heart will get hardened, and you'll be pretty much blinded, all right, by God's ways. So that's what's going on here. It says Sihon, king of Heshbon, would not let us pass through. He wasn't being kind. For the Lord your God hardened his spirit and made his heart obstinate, that he might deliver him into your hand as it is this day. So we got to make sure that our heart is not hardened. Who else's heart was hardened? It was Pharaoh from Egypt. All right. Remember, he wouldn't let the Hebrews go. Um, he had to be humbled, and yet he chased after them after they left. Also King Nebuchadnezzar, which we just read the book of Daniel yesterday, the day before. It's on my live. His heart was hardened. God humbled him. All right, and this person right here, Sihon, the king of Heshbon, will not let pass through, for the Lord your God hardened his spirit, made his heart obstinate. So guess what? He's going to be defeated. All right. And the Lord our God delivered him over to us. So we defeated him, his sons, and all his people. He got defeated. His heart was hardened. We took all his cities at the time, and we utterly destroyed the men and women and little ones of every city. We left none remaining. We took only the livestock, a plunder of ourselves with the spoil of the cities, which we took from Oro, which is on the bank of the river of Arnon, from the city that the river night is far. Gilead, there was not one city too strong for us. The Lord our God delivered all of us. Only you did not go near the land of people of Ammon, anywhere along the river Jabbok, or the cities of the mountains, or wherever the Lord our God had forbidden us. All right. So that's it. That was Deuteronomy chapter 2. All right. They took the city, they fought, and God had hardened this king's heart, and they literally just wiped them out. They got wiped out. All right. So one thing to remember is that hey, kingdoms come, they grow and they fall. All right. I guess like countries and stuff like that. So that's huge, man. That's huge to remember. Sihon, king of Heshbon, would not let pass through, for the Lord your God hardened his spirit, made his heart obstinate, that he might deliver him into the hand as it is to this day. And the Lord said to me, I have begun to give Sihon his land over to you, because to possess it, that you may inherit his land. Then Sihon and all his people came out against us to fight at Jahab, and the Lord our God delivered him over to us. That's huge. All his people, we took all his cities. At that time, we utterly destroyed the men, women, little ones of every city. They wiped them out. Right. So kingdoms get wiped out. All right, and that happens throughout the Bible. We're gonna have people fighting over Babylon. In the book of Daniel, we have let me see. Yeah, so that's pretty much what's going on here. How's it going? Thank you very much for being on. So we just finished reading the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 2. I am going to read the book, chapter 3 in a bit. I'm going to start another live and I'll get to that. Let me see how long it is. So it's going to be another battle. There's a lot of battles, man. There's a lot of battles in the Old Testament. There's a lot of warfare. Like, there's a lot. All right. So it's huge. And we're not even at the book of Joshua. The book of Joshua is next. That's when they take the land of Israel. So there's a lot of warfare in the Bible. Right? That's something to remember. People really don't like talking about it, but there is a lot. Right? So all right, I'm gonna start another live for the book of Joshua. Thank you very much. Try to get a fresh audience. Thank you, thank you.